We are finally back on Two Marks and a Spark. Season 4 finally fully underway. We had some hangups last week. We have not recorded since the night after WrestleMania. That feels like an eternity ago with everything that's happened. Really, it was only a couple weeks. Um, Russ, let's start by talking about the releases. And these were plentiful. I'm going to read off the whole list. We'll talk about them here in a second. Dakota Kai, Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, both Caden Carter and Katana Chance. I was a little surprised by Katana. That's from the main roster. Then on NXT, Cora Jade, Gigi Dolan for like the third time. Eddie Thorpe, Jakara Jackson, Riley Osborne, Oro Mensa, Javier Bernal, Joe Coffey, and Mark Coffey, Wolfgang, and Danny Palmer. All gone from the company. Shotzi also will not have her contract renewed, so she leaves for what has to be a fourth time.
Yeah,
Uh, Russ, a lot of surprises in here. Cora Jade and Dakota Kai probably key amongst them.
yeah.
I mean, I
I
thought
was
Cora
especially
Jade was,
surprised Dakota Kai. I thought
well,
she had improved a lot when she came back and from her injury. I was I kept hoping they would find something useful to do with her. She seemed to figure into the storyline going into WrestleMania and then just dropped.
what's interesting about Dakota Kai is I think of the people released, she's gonna have the most options. Her and Cora are gonna have the most options because Cora Jade, Elena Black, whatever you want to call her, that girl can get over pretty much anywhere. Like she got over on the indies. That's how she got to WWE. Like, she can get over. And Dakota Kai is at this point pretty much a proven star. So, you know, you're you're not going to struggle to find work if you're those two. If you're Braun Strowman though, I don't know where he goes from here.
Right.
Uh, AEW does not make a whole ton of sense.
I know with
Um,
that he struggled with injuries.
yeah. So has Dakota, but Dakota Kai's been healthy for the better part of the last few
Right.
months. So who
One
knows?
of my favorites, I was always disappointed that she was underused. That's Shayna Baszler. I'm not surprised that she was released, but I'm disappointed.
Well, here's the thing. They released Shayna Baszler, but everybody and their mother knows they're trying to bring Ronda Rousey back. So if you're trying to bring Ronda back, I don't think releasing one of her closest friends was a good idea. But
No.
um, you know,
Shayna Baszler is somebody I'd want to have at my side in a bar fight.
yeah, definitely. I listen, I think Shayna's probably gonna go to AEW. Uh she makes sense for them right now. They need an ass
Somebody
kicker in
for
that division.
Marina Shafir to fight. You know,
Yeah, and somebody from Marina to fight. That's kind of a no-brainer.
that could be,
Uh
they could have a hell of a good match. But
Caden Carter and Katana Chance or Case Cantzaro, whatever you want to call her. Uh
yes,
I
as
think
recently as in the Rumble, which what was that, Indianapolis?
yep.
They figured pretty heavily in that, and it seemed like they were getting pardon me, getting TV time, and all of a sudden gone.
I I think at minimum Katana will find something to do. Listen, they're both really talented. I think Casey has the higher ceiling though. So if you wanted me to make a pick right now of who's going to land on their feet first, it's probably going to be Casey Catanzaro because I think she's really talented. Cora Jade is going to be fine. Like I already said, she's going to find work somewhere because she's really good and she's already been on the indies once and she knows how to do this. She'll be in AEW by the end of the year. Gigi Dolan, Priscilla Kelly, like I was surprised to see her go because they really liked her and they were really excited when they got her. Um, I would imagine she's going to go back to Stardom. That would be my thinking, or Rev Pro, one of the two. Like she's going to go back where she was. As for everybody else, I wasn't really surprised by anybody besides Jakara Jackson because I swear they were just pushing Jakara Jackson in NXT 2 months ago. Um, and now she's gone. So
and she was more impressive to me than some of the other women uh, from NXT that were getting featured at that same time
yeah,
with some of the tag teams. She was the most impressive one to me, and I'm surprised she's the one they got rid of.
Shotzi also doesn't get her contract renewed. That's not a surprise at all. Unfortunately, I think Shotzi's really talented, but this isn't a surprise. She'll be fine. She'll land on her feet. Russ, I do want to talk a little bit about last week and this week's shows that we've had so far. We do have Dynamite tonight. Um, Quite a bit announced for that show, I think. But as for Raw Monday, this was a very long show. I don't think it was longer than normal. Like, it just felt really long. And I
It
want to
seems
spend some time talking about this main event.
I want to comment in general. It seems to me that the top tier stars now the norm seems to be entrances and then standing in the ring to the acclaim for just ridiculously long amounts of time. It's just really getting to be a trademark that I've been sick of.
So this main event gets set up on the same night because Paul Heyman goads Jey Uso into defending his title against Seth Rollins. This match ends in a total schmoz when just about half the locker room comes out. Um,
I had a feeling it would.
Basically, they empty the backstage area, and that's how the match ends. Uh, Russ, I didn't see most of Dynamite last week. Um, just shit was going on, couldn't see it. But from what I heard, it was actually a pretty good show. And I know I'm bouncing around here, but is that right? That Dynamite last week was pretty good based off what they've been doing anyway.
Yes, it was as usual. It's better than Collision, and it'll kind of, well, I'm sure subject to change with tonight. It kind of gives us an idea where they're going with uh with their pay per view, but their tournament, is one of the most unnecessarily confusing. And the way it's rolled out has just been so confusing and wonky. And, why stretch it out over such a long period of time?
I have no idea why they're doing this.
It doesn't make sense to
And
book
the
a
winner's not even
tournament that
getting the
way.
title match until All In. That's the thing. And All In isn't until July.
Ah, yeah, that's going to be in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, if we
I
still have Texas, and they never know, they might sell it back to Mexico.
Well, anything is possible, certainly.
I probably
Russ,
just pissed off a few people there. Sorry.
Russ, I think, kind of talking about the pay-per-view builds that we've been seeing. I don't think either company is building their upcoming show very well at all.
Yeah.
I think Double or Nothing looks fine, and Backlash is probably going to end up being great because it usually is. And I say this about the Backlash card every year that it looks weak, and then they go and have one of the better shows of the year. Have you
Right.
noticed that, Russ? Every time me and you shit talk a Backlash card, what ends up happening?
Well, it's usually pretty good, but it's the same way when they first started doing Backlash, it always looked like it was going to suck, and then of course they had Mick Foley back then. He always made Backlash special there for a while, but yeah, we'll just wait and see. Anymore, I just hopefully the ones that I like will not be disappearing.
I
Can I say something else about the booking of the show? Um, how does redoing uh, Nia Jax and Tiffany? How does that make sense? We did
I
that.
saw that. I
Yeah.
saw that, and I could not believe it. They are. going in reverse. Look,
And they're not using Bailey for some
I think
reason.
I think Nia and Tiffany are going to have a better match than Charlotte and Tiffany did.
Yeah, could be.
But that's kind of like saying I don't think it's going to be the drizzling shits. Um, but it might be.
It
I've
very
been
well
wrong
could
before.
be.
Uh, Russ, this backlash card is all over the place and kind of a mess and not really all that. Uh, it doesn't feel thought out. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah,
Beyond the main
kind
event,
of thrown
which
together.
the main event was obvious, but anyway, we have Dominic Mysterio versus Penta on this show. That match is going to be very good.
Yep, I
I
know it's
I
going to
don't
be good.
I don't know what else to tell you. We then have a fatal four-way of Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Why this match is a four-way when McIntyre just pinned Priest a month ago? Couldn't tell you, but that's for the US title. So both the
Because you have
IC
to have a four-way in there. That's the way you book it.
we have Pat McAfee versus Gunther for reasons I still don't understand.
Well, because he always wanted to be a professional wrestler. All the time that he was a broadcaster and all the time that he was playing football, going all the way back to when he was a little bitty boy and he saw, George Hackenschmidt and Lou Thesz wrestle,
Russ, do you
122 years
understand that you're
ago.
making no fucking sense right now?
Yeah, I mean, it would only make sense if he gets his ass completely destroyed and handed to him.
He will.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Listen, I think it's going to be a good match, but I think it's also going to be 20 minutes, and 17 minutes of that is going to be Gunther just absolutely destroying this guy,
Yeah,
just murdering him.
trying to keep him alive so it can hurt him some more.
Yeah. We then have Becky Lynch challenging for the women's Intercontinental title against Lyra Valkyria. Lyra gets on a pay per view with a title defense for the first time in what feels like years.
Right,
Uh, I don't know. This is going to be a good match, but why do we care? I mean, heel Becky Lynch is great. I think we can all agree on that.
yes,
Like, this version of Becky Lynch is awesome, but why are we burying Lyra?
yeah. She had a good match last night or the other night on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, Lyra's
Actually, I
really
thought
good.
I thought that was the best match of the whole show
Lyra's really good, which is why I
against
want to know what are we doing?
yes,
Because she's not beating Becky Lynch, right?
no.
Like, there's no way.
Well, you never know. They might. Who knows what they're going to do?
They may find a way, but I doubt it. So Becky wins that. I'm sure it'll be a good match. And then we have a match that I care about, but not for the reasons I should, and that's Randy Orton and John Cena for the WWE Championship.
Right,
I care about this match because this is the feud that I grew up on.
right.
Randy Orton
I
and
noticed
John
when they're
Cena.
showing the old clips of the old matches. I'd rather watch the rerun, I think, than the new one.
But like, here's the thing: like, I remember when Randy Orton punted John Cena's dad in the head.
Yes,
Like, I remember
Legend
this shit.
Killer, the Legend
And
Killer, right?
yeah, and 2009 Randy Orton was a menace. He was crazy. This Randy Orton is a dad.
That's right. And that's the problem. That's because John Cena, he didn't have no kids, so he didn't obey what it says to go forth and multiply and replenish the earth. He selfishly kept his seed to himself, and now he's just a dried up old stick of a man, you know?
Which is basically what Randy Orton's been saying for 2 weeks.
Correct.
So, by the way, can we talk about how Randy Orton got this match? Let's recap. He
Right.
was injured. He came back at Elimination Chamber, was supposed to wrestle Kevin Owens and lose, mind you. Yes,
Yes.
Randy Orton was going to lose to Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens gets hurt. So Randy Orton wrestles Joe Hendry
Yeah.
and wins. And now
Right.
he's the number one contender for the WWE Championship.
Right. Because he beat the TNA World Champion in like 3 minutes. Go figure. This is how they work it out, I guess.
I don't understand.
I don't think they do either completely.
Now, John is going to win this match. The question is, how shit is it going to be?
Who knows?
Russ, do you think this match has a chance of being good?
Probably not.
Here's how I think this match could be good. Are you ready?
Hmm.
If Randy Orton says, fuck this, I'm carrying,
Yeah, that could
and
happen.
if Randy Orton turns the clock back to about 2009, this is going to be a good match.
Sure. Well, he could have a good match with just about anybody. That's true.
This is still Randy Orton we're talking about. And whether anybody wants to believe this or not, all these years later, all these millions and millions of matches and millions of miles and whatever, Randy Orton's still better than Cody Rhodes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, like despite everything, Randy Orton is still better than Cody Rhodes. And that's the crazy thing. People underrate Randy Orton now. They realize how great he was, but they don't realize how great he still is. This guy can pull a rabbit out of his ass if he has to.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a good match. It's probably going to be better than Gunther versus
McAfee.
Pat McAfee.
So, Russ, you think Randy pulls one out of his ass here and finds a way to make this match good?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing he does, and he will do for another year or two, probably.
But there's no denying at this point that Randy Orton is a phenomenal professional wrestler.
Oh, yes.
John Cena was very good at a time. I'm not sure he's very good anymore. He did well in the chamber match, but he was also very well hidden in the chamber match. Um, he did not do well at WrestleMania. He hasn't done well the last few singles matches he's had. I do have some concerns.
Well, you can't keep going forever.
Russ, what percentage chance do you give Randy Orton of winning this match? I give it a 0.5.
Oh, yeah, around that, maybe you
He
need
has a puncher's
5%, 5%.
he has a puncher's chance, and that might be being nice. I think this is John Cena convincingly. Um,
Yeah.
and they need to have a good match, otherwise this whole thing gets really, really dodgy really, really quick. Because here's the thing: it would not be unlike Hunter if these two go out there and stink out the place to cut this whole Cena title run short and say, "Look, dude, this ain't working."
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. You don't want to go into it with too high expectations, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. Not with John Cena at 40, whatever he is, and not looking good. Now, he's still good on the mic, but I'm not sure he can go in the ring. But here's the good news, folks. It's not like Chris Jericho. At least there's an end in sight for this misery, as John Cena will not wrestle beyond December 31st of this year. So,
Right.
Russ,
Well,
are you ready for the.
Chris Jericho right now is out touring with his rock and roll band.
Yeah, put that in air quotes. Rock and roll, air quotes.
Well, I refuse to call it metal because it sure as hell ain't metal.
No, no, it's not. Um, John Cena's had matches that are more metal than Fozzy is. Anyway,
Yeah, good one.
Russ, I think Backlash will find a way to be a good show, but right now I don't like its chances.
Well, it depends on what they do tonight, and depends on if they can find somebody to replace John Moxley. You know, I mean, Samoa Joe could do it, but here's the thing. I'm sorry.
What was that?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say about Double or Nothing. It's gonna be Joe and Moxley, I think,
Yeah.
and Joe's gonna lose that match, even though he shouldn't.
Well, he should win it. I think it'd be the perfect time to give Mr. Moxley a vacation.
And Samoa Joe winning the world title is never a bad idea.
No, he can carry it for quite a while. He's always over with the crowd.
And if they want to put the belts on Osprey in July, okay, Joe can do a short run.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's done it
I don't know,
many
Russ.
times.
The only two announced matches for the Double or Nothing pay per view right now are the finals of the Owen Hart tournaments. Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter, that should be a fantastic match. And Osprey and Hangman should also be, I guess, good. But it's Jamie Hayter, so she'll probably find a way to make her match good at least. And
Sure.
Osprey will do something incredible, I'm sure. I don't know. Russ,
Yes.
I'm not thrilled with what they're doing with Jey Uso's world title run so far.
Right.
I think he's going to lose the title really, really soon.
Not 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 this not a backlash though.
He's not defending, so no.
No. What I mean is, we still got a few something could happen on SmackDown. You never know.
I mean, the World Heavyweight
Desperation.
title is very rarely discussed on SmackDown.
Yep. Only when they do the draft.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Uncle Russ, I think that about does it for us. We will be
Yeah.
back here Saturday night to discuss Backlash as well
Yeah.
as if any other news breaks. We
Right.
should mention Alberto Del Rio did get signed to a TKO contract, as did a bunch of other AAA talent.
Correct.
The Del Rio thing, for as gross as it is, I don't think he's going to be working in WWE. I think that's for AAA. Same with Vikingo and other guys. It was merely a contractual thing because the AAA contracts were too easy to get out of. They wanted more legally binding contracts. So,
Yeah. Makes sense.
and of course, Alberto was going to take that because that guy can't get hired anywhere else.
Well, that's kind of made his own bed. Now he's got to sleep in it.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is a shame because before he went batshit crazy, I thought he was a good worker and a good talker.
and then he went to just horrible human being.
Yeah. We didn't know.
Well, the only way they're going to get out of that now is if they release him, which they're going to have to do. He's not going to stick around. I don't think he sticks around very long at all because I think he gets himself in trouble again.
All right.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for us. Uncle Russ, any last thoughts?
Glad to be starting the fourth season. I will do my best to be alive and awake every time I show up.
Well, that's about all we can ask for. Just be alive.
Exactly. And hopefully
But,
awake so that we can converse.
well, yeah, that would help. But we are going to be doing a whole bunch of new fun stuff here in season four. Stick around to find out what that is. And we will see you Saturday night for Backlash. Until then, Damon, play our music. Enjoy the wrestling, folks.